Carl Jung once warned about a type of person who walks among us wearing a perfect mask, but inside, there is nothing. They smile at the right moments. They say the right words. They can even look loving. But when you look deeper, there is no empathy, no remorse, no real connection. And the terrifying part? You don't realize who they are until they've already damaged your life. Jung believed that when a person becomes completely disconnected from their shadow and their soul, something inside them dies. Not physically, psychologically. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 signs that reveal when someone is emotionally empty, when their heart has gone cold. And by the end, you won't just understand them, you'll understand how to protect yourself from becoming one. Fire pattern interrupt line. Pay attention carefully. Missing one sign could cost you years. Most people carry something inside them that keeps them human. It is quiet but powerful. When they hurt someone, even by accident, it whispers. It creates discomfort. That discomfort is called guilt, and guilt is not weakness. It is proof that the soul is still alive. But a cold-hearted person operates differently. When they hurt you, nothing moves inside them. No inner conflict, no restless night, no urge to repair the damage. Instead, they rationalize, they explain, they justify. If they forgot your birthday, you should have reminded them. If they insulted you, you are too sensitive. If they broke a promise, your expectations were too high. Carl Jung believed that when the ego becomes disconnected from the self, the moral compass weakens. The inner judge goes silent. And when that happens, the ego no longer answers to anything. A normal person feels tension after doing wrong. A cold-hearted person feels inconvenience at being confronted. Watch how someone reacts when they are clearly at fault. Do they reflect or do they deflect? When the conscience is silent, the ego becomes a dictator. And that is your first warning sign. Cold-hearted people do not enter relationships to connect. They enter to calculate. At first, it feels real. They mirror your humor. They agree with your opinions. They seem deeply interested in your dreams. It feels like you've finally met someone who understands you. But what you are seeing is not connection, it is performance. Carl Jung spoke about the persona, the social mask we wear to function in society. Everyone has one, but in a psychologically integrated person, the persona is balanced by the self. In a cold-hearted person, the persona is everything. There is nothing behind it. They study what you value and then reflect it back to you, not because they feel it, but because it keeps you engaged. Once you are emotionally invested, the shift begins. The warmth fades. The attention drops. The effort disappears. Why? Because you're no longer new, no longer useful, no longer a source of validation or benefit. To them, people are not souls. They are opportunities. Pay attention to the pattern. Do they stay when there is nothing to gain? Or do they vanish the moment the exchange feels unequal? Real connection is mutual. Transactional attachment is conditional. And conditional attachment always reveals an empty core. Empathy is what makes us human. It is the invisible bridge between two nervous systems. When someone suffers, you feel a shift inside yourself. Your tone softens. Your body leans forward. Even if you don't have the perfect words, your presence says, I feel this with you. But with a cold-hearted person, that bridge does not exist. You can sit in front of them with tears in your eyes, explaining how something broke you, and their expression barely changes. They might nod, they might say the right phrases, but it feels hollow, mechanical, like an actor reading from a script. Carl Jung believed that true connection requires access to one's inner world. A person who is disconnected from their own depths cannot descend into yours. If they are numb to themselves, they will be numb to you. There is a difference between someone who struggles to express emotion and someone who does not feel it at all. The first feels overwhelmed. The second feels irritated. When you cry, they analyze. When you suffer, they detach. And over time, you learn something painful. You cannot lean on someone who feels nothing when you fall. When empathy is absent and conscience is silent, something else takes its place: control. Cold-hearted people rarely explode in obvious ways. Their power is subtle, psychological, precise. They do not argue to understand you. They argue to reposition you. Slowly, almost invisibly, they begin to reshape your perception of reality. This is where manipulation begins. They twist conversations until you forget what the original issue was. You bring up something that hurt you, and somehow you end up apologizing. They shift blame with surgical precision. If you set a boundary, they call you selfish. If you question them, you are overthinking. If you remember events clearly, they suggest your memory is flawed. Jung described projection as a defense mechanism of the unconscious. A person unable to confront their own shadow will cast it onto others. Instead of facing their flaws, they relocate them onto you. Over time, this erodes your confidence. You second-guess your instincts. You doubt your own judgment. And that is exactly the point. Control feels powerful to someone who feels empty. They distort reality because facing their inner void would require self-awareness. And that is the one thing they avoid at all costs. If you step back and look at their life from a distance, you'll notice a pattern that cannot be ignored. Cold-hearted people move through relationships like seasons. People enter, people leave, but no one stays. There are no deep-rooted friendships from childhood, no long-term bonds built on mutual growth, no relationships that survive hardship with respect intact. At first, they will tell you it's bad luck. They will say their ex was unstable, their friends were jealous, their family was toxic. Every broken connection has a story, and in every story they are the victim. But look closer. When someone lacks vulnerability, empathy, and genuine care, intimacy becomes impossible. Jung believed that real connection requires integration of self, the ability to face your own depths. A person who avoids their inner world cannot share it with anyone else. So their relationships remain surface level, performative, temporary. They may know many people, but nobody truly knows them. And here is the unsettling truth. If every bridge behind someone is burned, eventually you must ask, who was holding the match? An empty core cannot sustain real love. It can only imitate for a while. Now here is where we need maturity. Not every cold heart is evil. Some are wounded. There is a difference between someone who feels nothing and someone who learned to shut their feelings down to survive. Trauma can freeze a person emotionally. Repeated betrayal can harden someone's defenses. Childhood neglect can teach a person that vulnerability is dangerous. Jung understood this deeply. When pain is too overwhelming, the psyche protects itself by building walls. Over time, those walls can look like indifference, detachment, even cruelty. But here is the crucial distinction. A wounded person still has depth. If you look carefully, you will see flickers of emotion, moments of regret, a quiet sadness behind their silence. They may struggle to express empathy, but they are capable of growth. A truly cold-hearted person shows no internal conflict, no cracks in the mask, no desire to reflect. They do not avoid emotion because it hurts. They avoid it because it does not exist for them. Some people are frozen. Others are empty. And wisdom is learning the difference, because one may heal, while the other will only consume your energy. Here's the most important part. This is about you. The real danger is not just meeting a cold-hearted person. It is staying in their orbit long enough to let them reshape your reality. It is letting their absence of empathy, manipulation, and emptiness influence how you see yourself. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of self-awareness and boundaries. Recognizing patterns in others is only useful if you act on them. Knowledge alone does not protect you. Applied wisdom does. You cannot fix them. You cannot fill their void with your care. You cannot love them into becoming someone they are not. Try will only drain you, erode your confidence, and fracture your trust in people. Your protection is simple: awareness, boundaries, and distance. Step back, observe, test their reactions. When the signs appear, do not excuse them. Do not rationalize them. Walk away. Preserve your energy, your mental health, and your emotional integrity. When you remove the people who cannot connect with you, you make space for the ones who can. Real friends, real partners, and real human connection. Those who stay when there is nothing to gain. The greatest lesson: your emotional health is non-negotiable. Protect your soul, nurture your depth, and never compromise it for someone who cannot meet you there.